There's something very fishy going on with Kendrick Lamar and the label of TDE. Let me explain. The label's biggest stars such as Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, SZA, Ab-Soul, and J-Rock all haven't put an album out in years. Take a look at some of the albums they dropped from 2011 to 2016, and then take a look at the albums they have dropped since then. The last time Kendrick dropped, rappers like Polo G, Lil Baby, and Gunna didn't even have any official music out. XXXTentacion and Juice WRLD became some of the greatest artists and cultivated some of the most hardcore fan bases we have ever seen in music, and died since the last time Kendrick dropped. This is suspicious for an artist who has been massively consistent with dropping music every year since 2009. And many fans like myself have just been wondering what the hell has been going on. Is Kendrick Lamar just lazy and uninspired, or is there something much deeper going on? If you guys are looking for a nice decoration or a cool gift idea, then you should look into getting some of my canvases. Since we're doing a video about Kendrick, I thought it'd be dope to show y'all the one I did for Tip of a Butterfly. All you guys gotta do is DM me on my Instagram at Louaista, send me the picture of the album you want me to do, and there will be a link in the description for you guys to check out over 100 reviews and tons of samples on my work via my Instagram highlights. Let's get back into the video. At one point in Kendrick's career, he was an absolute demon, going at everyone's neck, saying he's the greatest rapper alive. I'm the best rapper alive. I'm the best rapper alive. I'm the best rapper alive. And name dropping lyrical geniuses like Weezy, Jay-Z, and Lupe Fiasco. Luckily in 2021, Kendrick Lamar finally peeked his head out on social media and returned to tell us that he collects old beach cruisers and doesn't use his phone for months. Yeah, thanks Kendrick. Kidding, I'm kidding. But actually, he did say something about his next album, and that is going to be the absolute last album that he's gonna drop, at least on the label of TDE. Well, to me, it's strange for an artist like Kendrick Lamar, who has been all about TDE from the moment he joined the label in 2006, built it up to be one of the most widely known and respected labels in the industry, and just dips after years of not dropping anything. This is the longest he has ever gone since he started making music. A few months prior to announcing his departure, Kendrick Lamar announced via Instagram that he was starting a new company called PgLang. Many people were and still are confused about what exactly PgLang is, but it seems to be some type of record label that Kendrick Lamar is starting on his own. Many people speculate that Baby Keem, Kendrick's cousin, is signed to the label, and he's pushing this album more than he did with Isaiah Rashad's, which is kind of messed up if you think about it. You see, in the past, whenever someone on TDE dropped an album, every artist on the label of TDE would change their profile pictures to that album on social media, something that simply didn't happen this time around. I know it's a small thing, but you know, it's the small things that matter, right? So why would Kendrick Lamar want to leave a label that has spent over a decade helping him curate his sound and building his artistry to the point where he would be able to sell 600,000 units his first week upon dropping? I mean, that's more than Kanye West sold with Donda, and people say that he's the greatest artist of all time, and he's one of the greatest artists when it comes to marketing. I'm sure you guys know that. For one, I think money has something to do with it. Now look, Kendrick has made it clear throughout his music that he doesn't really care about money, such as buying his sister a Camry, the fact that you never really see him wearing anything other than like hoodies and sweat. But these days, a lot of artists are starting to understand the opportunity they have of being independent. I mean, who wouldn't want to be their own boss? When you think of rappers or any artist in general, you probably think of the cars, the jewelry, the big houses, and being able to be financially free without any care in the world. But honestly, that's just the furthest thing from the truth. If we take a look at artists like NBA YoungBoy, for example, he signed his first deal when he was 16 for $2 million. As his career went on, he started to explode in popularity, and he eventually started to see the evil side of record labels and the industry. Fast forward to today, and he is so anxious to finish the contract that he is currently in, so much so that he's already dropped over 10 projects since the year 2020. He just dropped another one a week ago. We can also take a look at artists like Lil Durk, Big Crit, Logic, and Tory Lanez as well, since they have all voiced their opinions on the industry and all left Def Jam for shady business moves. Now look, I'm not saying that TDE is anything like Def Jam or Atlantic Records, but being signed to any label basically means three things. You have a job, you still have a boss to attend to, and you have huge industries profiting off the music that you make. When rappers like Tyler the Creator, Chance the Rapper, G Herbo, and Russ are fully independent rappers making every penny back from the music they create. Kendrick is antisocial as hell and loves to keep to himself. He's definitely not anything like NBA YoungBoy, where he's willing to voice his opinion publicly about the things going on behind the scenes with the labels. And honestly, there's never been one word peeped by anyone from any TDE member of shady business moves, but to me, it's just common sense. Why would anyone want to leave something that's continuing to exponentially make them happier and richer, especially with the connections and the brotherhood that he's built over the years with the artists and executives at the label? I'm not going to reveal any names, but I've recently connected with an artist who's in a group, and he wants to leave really bad due to ownership problems and a lack of creative freedom amongst his partners. He simply wasn't getting paid enough, and they didn't agree with his perspective of releasing music the way he thought would have had had a stronger ROI, and now he wants to leave. Had they agreed with his plan or even given it a try, maybe he would have stayed. And also look at the situation that happened with Joe Budden and his co-host Rory Mal and apply it to artists being signed to the label that is accumulating all of the money. While I'm sure Kendrick is given all the creative freedom that he possibly desires, there's probably still a few things holding him back. Damn was Kendrick's last album and his most successful album in terms of numbers, but it was also his most mainstream and commercial project Kendrick has released. So there's probably someone behind his ear telling him to make more hits, and that's bothering him. It's something similar to what J. Cole expressed about Jay-Z on the song Let Nas Down, where he was basically forced by Jay-Z to make a hit record, and it did good, but it's not what he wanted to do. On top of all of that, Kendrick Lamar is a smart guy, and I'm sure he learned a lot about being under the wing of Punch and Top Dawg, and now he wants to use his talents to generate more income, aside from simply making albums that the labels take huge percentages of, but also being able to bring up other artists as well, again, similar to what J. Cole is doing. Now, I do think that TDE could have actually prevented this in some way, shape, or form by at least giving Kendrick Lamar equity in the label, meaning that he gets paid directly from how much the label continues to grow. He was probably given a good lump of cash and is living better than he ever has. But if you think of Kendrick as being an actual co-founder of the label, because he's really the reason that TDE has gained so much publicity over the years, then that would be a lot more motivating than continuing to be a slave to a label who's taking all the money from his albums. Because let's be honest, Baby Keem would have been a perfect addition to the TDE roster. Their biggest stars are slowly fading away, and Keem has a ton of energy and hype right now. It would have been perfect to continue their legacy, but instead he signed with Kendrick's PgLang instead. Since every artist on the label is antisocial as hell and don't like to reveal any of the inside stuff of what's going on, we can only speculate what's the real reason, but in my mind, I don't think it gets any more clear than that. You know, if someone isn't happy in a relationship, they eventually leave. And for an artist like Kendrick to have taken such a long hiatus after consistently dropping for 2 years ever since 2009, I find it extremely odd that he decided to just become a monk and disappear for 5 years out of nowhere, along with artists like Ab-Soul, SZA, and J-Rock. Either he's lazy as hell and just hasn't been making any music, because artists like Kanye truly show what's possible in terms of creating a great album in a small amount of time, or he's been making music for so long that we're just about to hear the most insane project we have ever heard in like the past decade or two. But in my opinion, it only makes matters worse the longer you take, especially in today's climate when people are quick to trash albums the second they drop. I can already see people on Twitter saying, oh my gosh, it took 5 years to make this. There could also be many other reasons why Kendrick Lamar is leaving, though. Of course, this is just my opinion and my take on it. There's sort of like a redirection going on in TDE right now as they're bringing in fresh new talent and seeking for the next Kendrick Lamar. They recently signed Ray Vaughn and Doechii, and although we haven't heard much from them yet, TDE has definitely learned a lot from creating those first artists that joined their label and know exactly what it takes to build up another artist's career doing the same thing. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments about my take. Is it possible that Kendrick wasn't getting paid enough? Maybe he wanted equity in TDE and they just refused to give it to him? Why did Kendrick Lamar leave TDE? And what are your expectations for the next Kendrick album? I think that's way too many questions for you guys to answer, so I expect to see y'all in the comment section below. As always, it's your boy Louaista, aka Canvas Man. Make sure you guys DM me on Instagram for a canvas. I can do any picture, any image you want, and you guys can check my highlights for reviews and samples of my work. I appreciate everybody who watched and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.